Hey guys, we're on the Nintendo eShop today. It's currently Sunday and tomorrow is Cyber Monday, but the eShop currently has some pretty good deals going on. I think they have them until December 2nd or at least the end of the day on December 1st here. But what I wanted to go over was kind of the top games that you can buy for $10 or less, really less than $10. I think in one of my other sales videos I recommended that you guys need to buy kids at least a $10 eShop gift card. There's not that many games that are good for $5 or less, but for $10 you can actually find some really good games and really good deals. So the way you would do this is on the eShop itself, you would go all the way down and actually you would go to search, my bad. And if you see here, there's a keyword, and most people usually use the keyword search, but down here you also have genre, games with demos, downloadable content, and price range. And we want to be in price range today, and the reason we want to do that is because you see here there's actually a cutoff. There's games that are from 0 cent, or I'm sorry, 1 cent, it's not free, to $9.99, and we want to take a look at view more. And now it's definitely time to either buy yourself some of these games or one of your kids one of these games as well. But let's take a look. Now, you're gonna get some really good deals for under $10. First, this is a game I'm definitely gonna get. It's a remake of the NES game Fire Emblem, the first one that was ever made with Marth. It was never released in the US, so I'm definitely gonna pick this up when it comes out in December here, the 4th. I'm looking to get the collector's edition version, but pre-orders have been kind of a challenge. If anything, even with the collector's physical version, you still get the digital code to download the game. So this is cool. The graphics are kind of old, so if you have kids and they don't appreciate retro game, you may want to skip over this one. But then you have some really good games on sale now for under 10 bucks. Castlecrashers is a really good, it used to be based on Flash, but it's a little more advanced now. But basically you play these knights, and depending on which knight you play, they have different move sets and you can get different weapons and stuff. It's basically kind of a hack and slash with some, like a beat 'em up, I should say, with some puzzle elements sprinkled in here and there, but you can play up to 4 people. So it's really fun if you have a bunch of friends over. You can see I already purchased Bastion. I think it's a great game. It's a very narrative driven game, and you play as this kid, and it's narrated by this guy with a really deep voice who walks you through every narrative of the story there. And if you're into that, then check it out. It plays kind of like an action RPG, so it's kind of like Diablo, but since it's story driven, there's so much more that's going on there. You see I'm skipping over these Doom games because these aren't the newest and greatest Dooms. These are kind of remake of old games already, but I mean at $3, at $2 for Doom 64, at $2 for the original Doom, it might be worth it to check out. See a lot of board games as well. We had Monopoly up here, and then we have Uno, so if you're familiar with board games, great. Here's a great one, definitely game for more for kids. It's Marvel Superheroes. You get to play as Lego versions of them, Marvel Superheroes, and you get to use some of their powers. And when you hit enemies, they kind of explode into Lego forms, and you get coins that look like the Lego heads or the caps things. So definitely check that out. Gris. My significant other actually got this game, and she really enjoyed it. It's kind of a walk through somebody's mental health as it's going down, but visualized into a game form. So definitely cool. It did win an award from Game Awards last year, so definitely check it out. Transistor, I really like this game. This is better than Bastion in my opinion. It's more of a strategy RPG as opposed to an action RPG. What I mean by that is there's an element to it when you can like pause time, really move your character and do all the actions, unpause time, your characters will actually do that. And there's lots of skill points involved in how you want to play and which combat abilities you want to choose. It is a narrative driven as well, but this is more gritty, cyberpunky, happens in the future, less steampunk, more cyberpunk. Okay. Overcooked, my bad, not Overwatch, is a game where you're little chefs, and it's kind of like Mario Party, where you're all trying to work together to serve a dish. And since there's multiple people, it's going to help you because one person can like prep vegetables, another person can throw away rotten food, another person can put out fires in the kitchen. It's really fun. I played it on my girlfriend's Switch there, and definitely, I would definitely check it out. Sonic Mania for $10, so this is half the price. And this is, if you like the old school Sonics, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, definitely check this one out. This is based on those versions. You can see there as the screenshots kind of change. It's that. So if you love Sonic, go for it. Episode 1 Podracer. Remember playing these in the arcades where you have different handles, and then it finally made its way to the N64. I remember that, but now you can buy the Podracer game. It was really expensive when it came out, like all new games are, but now you can get it here. And you saw their split screen as well, so if you have 2 players you can play on one console, so that's very nice. Okami, I bought this game a lot, probably for Xbox and PC, and even the Wii U. I got a copy of Okami. It plays a lot like, if you like Twilight Princess and you like the Wolf Link form version of Link there, it plays a lot like that. And it's very Zelda-esque too, where you go to different dungeons, get different power-ups, and you kind of draw the powers. And it's all rendered in this kind of cool CG form with paintbrush and really old Japanese art. So I definitely would want to check that out, you know? I got Blazing Beaks here. This is pretty cool. It's a twin shooter, but you play co-op with somebody else. It's very roguelike in the sense that all the levels are random generated. They do have themes, so for instance, the first set of levels take place in a forest, but it's randomly generated enemies and layouts. But the cool thing here is they have a risk-reward factor, where if you collect these debuffs, it really debuffs your character, but every once in a while you'll get kind of a indoor or tavern door. You go in and you can exchange those items for basically upgrades or buffs. There's some strategy in that. So how much do you want to cripple your current character fighting the enemies, and so that you can carry all of those loot in and change it for rewards. Sometimes you may get a whole bunch of debuffs and that door may not show up, and then you're kind of out of luck there. So definitely something to consider. Okay. Katana Zero. So I hear this game is really good as well. It's a 2D side scroller. I currently have some of those in my backlog, so I haven't bought this one. But this one, if you like action games, definitely check it out there. Jedi Outcast. So this is with Kyle Katarn. It's not canon yet, I don't think, of the Disney reboot timeline. But it's really cool because you do get to play as with the laser rifles, but then eventually you do turn into a Jedi, and that's kind of the premises of the game. And you have cool force powers, force push, push pull, all of that. I played Jedi Academy, which is also on sale here, so definitely would check this out if you want that classic Star Wars experience. But since it's not canon, some of you guys may be turned off by that. Child of Light. This is also a game I purchased multiple times, one on Xbox and once on PC. This is a very cool game where you basically grow up as a princess and you travel the world, and it's really beautiful because everything's hand-drawn and colored, and you gain different abilities. It is very Final Fantasy as far as when you enter combat, you're in kind of a 3-person setup, but there's more strategy to it because you're both controlling the party as well as this light, and this light kind of interrupts enemies' attacks and stuff. So you gotta strategize that. The different characters you get in this game do different things. So let's say you need a giant brawler, you want that. You want somebody who can apply debuffs. There's somebody who specializes in that. And then the princess is pretty flexible there. She's basically a melee attack with some healing aspects. Okay. Is there anything else I would recommend on this list? There certainly are. Let's see. you gotta scroll through some of these because there's a lot of good games for under $10, but there's lots of bad games for under $10 as well. So make sure you go through this and see what you like. Metal Slug, I really like this game. I played this a lot on my friend's Neo Geo. When he first got it, he was one of the lucky guys who got a Neo Geo. Too bad that didn't last, that company, right? But Metal Slug's always great. It's like Contra, but there's lots more fluid animation. So if you like the shoot 'em ups, definitely check that out. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. So this is a game I want to get, but I didn't quite finish Blood of the Moon 1. I did finish the main campaign, but if you beat the main campaign, there's kind of like another story there where you have to go through the entire castle with fewer characters. So I don't want to jump in here without trying to figure out or getting the true ending for the first one. So I might hold off on this for now, but if you did play the first one and you liked it, you'll be sure to like this one. Okay, you see I bought the Mega Man X collection. This is great. I love Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4 that comes with this. I haven't played 4, but I played 1, 2, and 3, and I really like playing 1 over and over just simply because you run through it, you fight the levels. There's some really cool stuff like save slates, which means you can save. You don't have to remember all the passwords and the for each level and all the upgrades, but it's always fun to go through that if you have a couple hours and you just want to run through X or X2. Definitely do that. Revelations 2. I really enjoyed Revelations 1, but I just got Resident Evil 6, so I'm going to be playing that. I might pick up 2 before the deals end, because I really enjoyed Revelations 1. I really like the Resident Evil stories in general, so this could be something. Moonlighter. Again, girlfriend has this game. You kind of play as a shopkeeper. At night you go out and you really dungeon raid, and in all of the loot that you gain you set up shop. So there's kind of two aspects of the game. One is the hack slash dungeon crawler loot, and the other is management of your customers and how much you want to sell. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of cool premises why you want to go dungeon raiding in the first place. I'm currently playing through decks. I think it's a cool concept. It's cyberpunk and you're a hacker, and there's like a matrix element to it where you have to be plugged in to hack stuff, but since your character doesn't need to be plugged in and she can hack stuff, it opens up the world to possibilities. The only issue is the animation is kind of janky. One of the things the game relies on is combat, and the animation is janky. And what I mean by that is some of the enemies are cheap. Like, they don't let you attack cancel or fall cancel or any sort of fighting thing, but the main system is in a beat 'em up. So for instance, let's say you do a jump kick, that gets blocked most of the time, or even if you wait until the last minute to kick, it still gets blocked, and sometimes you punch them, but then they kick you, except their kick is stronger than your punch, and so you get sent flying back, and they just like stand up, no recoil, nothing. Alright, well, speaking of beat 'em ups, if you guys really like those old beat 'em ups, Capcom has them nicely packaged. I think 20 bucks is way overpriced, but 10 bucks is a little better, so there's that. We recently got Worm's Weapon of Mass Destruction. I literally played this yesterday with my friends. It's pretty cool. You get the Worms experience. The only thing is you jump into it cold turkey. Everyone's trying to figure out how to play and which weapon does what, but it's that classic Worm experience where you're trying to either blow the worms up or shoot them off the stage. Okay. X2, I don't think it's good as X1. The reviewers don't think it's good as X1, so if you have to get one of the two, get X1. Rogue Legacy, I have this on PC. It is a little frustrating, but the concept is really cool in the sense that it is roguelike, where every time you go into the castle, it's a different layout. Every time you die, you pass on your skills to your offspring. But the issue is that the offspring has some flaws. So for instance, they could be blind and so you can't see anything, or they only see in black and white, or they're slow, or they can't jump, or all of the genetic defects you can think of that plague heroes in a fighting game, you'll get it if you play this game. So that's the humor in it. But basically, the goal is for you to die over and over again and go into castle with new layouts, trying to figure out what works and what does not. And every time you fail, of course, you kind of get an increase. Revelations, would definitely recommend. It has that duality of being a scary Resident Evil game as well as being kind of the shooter Resident Evil game that's more recent. So you have the classic and you have kind of the new. It's interesting and I like the combination of both. Valkyria Chronicles. I played the original one on in the older generations. I really like it, and I also recently finished Valkyria Chronicles 4. This is a strategy RPG, but instead of just right-clicking on who you want to attack, you actually got to aim and then shoot, kind of like a third-person shooter. But there's a lot of strategies, very anime characters, there's long campaigns, and you get to drive a tank. I mean, what more do you need, right? Let's see, you have some of the Devil May Cry. I haven't played them necessarily, but they're remaking, or they're making 5, I think. So, I might want to check these out eventually, but the issue with getting older 3D games is they play kind of wonky, and some of the features you expect from today's modern games aren't there. Okay, is there anything else I would recommend going down this list? Let's see here. I don't see anything, but those are the games I think for $10 or really less than $10 I would definitely recommend you guys get. There's some jewels in here with all of these cheaper games. Another one before we go that I'm interested in is Evoland, and if you like kind of RPGs and kind of the old school 16-bit graphics, 8-bit graphics, and then it kind of leads into the 3D RPG, this is what it is. So the draw for it is as you go through the levels and you level up, the game levels up with you. So it starts in 2D and then eventually becomes 3D. So that's really cool concept. I might check that out if I run out of RPGs, which I doubt I will run out, especially with Fire Emblem coming out. But that is less than $10, so definitely worth it there. Alright guys, I think those are all the recommendations for now. There's always a lot more under the deals and section of the eShop, but just a reminder, how I got here was I went to search and browse, and basically I went to price range and then went down to 0.01 cents to $9.99, and that's how I got all the games under $10. Hope this video was helpful, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, bye!